Good evening, everyone. Oh, you all can do better than that. I know we had a little bit of a downpour on the way here, but it is such a special night. I see, is that Miss Jean? Great to see everyone. I know circumstances are a little different, but this is such a wonderful evening. We are so delighted, so thrilled to have you all here. So let's try it one more time. Good evening, everyone. Thank you. I am Judy Gatz, an anchor with WIS Television, and am truly honored to be here with you for this special occasion this evening. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the unveiling ceremony for the 2022 South Carolina African American History Calendar. This is the 32nd year that we have assembled for the unveiling of the new African American History Calendar and the 33rd iteration of the calendar. To start the ceremony this evening, we have a very special treat for all of you, those of you who are in attendance here with us at the Coker Center, as well as our audience joining us online. A musical performance by the Blythewood Orchestra Chamber Ensemble. They have been performing together since 2018 under the direction of Julie Ann Russell. The Blythewood Chamber Orchestras have earned numerous superior ratings at the SCMEA Concert Performance Assessment Festivals. They are incredible. The students in this group are routinely accepted into region and all-state orchestras and have performed at multiple school and district level functions, as well as our South Carolina State Teacher of the Year celebration, Rotary clubs, as well as many other special events. These students approach their music with a dynamic passion and desire that is truly unparalleled. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to the Blythewood High School Orchestra Chamber Ensemble. about that Blythewood High School Orchestra Chamber Ensemble? Give them another big round of applause. What a wonderful, wonderful job helping start our ceremony off on a high note tonight. What an incredibly talented group of young men and young women. We are so delighted they could be here with us this evening and delighted to have you with us here as well. Good evening once again, everyone. I'm Judy Gatson with WIS-TV. So delighted to welcome you to the Koger Center this evening for the unveiling of the 33rd edition of the South Carolina African American History Calendar. Before we start with tonight's program, we want to take a moment and ask everyone to join us in observing a moment of silence in honor of the more than 11,000 South Carolinians and more than 700,000 Americans who have lost their lives as a result of COVID-19. Our thoughts and prayers are with each and every one of them, as well as with their family and friends, if you would be so kind. Thank you kindly for joining us in that moment of silence. As we proceed this evening, we also want to take a moment to offer special recognition for some community heroes. We've heard a lot about them on WIS-TV and in coverage around the nation, but we want to make sure that we take time to honor them at this ceremony tonight as well. We want to recognize our healthcare workers and our first responders who have been on the front lines combating COVID-19 in our community. We owe them such a tremendous debt of gratitude for their unwavering service and their incredible care for all of our neighbors in need. Any healthcare workers who are here with us this evening, would you please stand? We also want to salute our men and women in uniform who work so incredibly hard to protect our freedoms. We appreciate your duty, your service, your sacrifice at home and abroad. Would any of our men and women in uniform who serve in our armed forces, would you please stand this evening? And finally, our elected officials, from local school boards to city and county council, and those who serve in our state house. If any of our elected officials are joining us for the ceremony this evening, please stand so we can recognize you as well. Thank you all so very much for your service to our community. We appreciate all of you who are able to join us here in person at the Koger Center this evening, and those of you who are watching live online, the live stream, we are delighted to be able to offer you tonight. As you likely noticed as you entered the Koger Center and taking your seats here in the auditorium, we have a variety of safety measures in place that are recommended by our public health experts, all in an effort to keep everyone safe. We ask that you continue to wear your face coverings throughout the evening and maintain physical distancing between you and those who are from other households who are at the ceremony tonight. We also kindly ask that you please follow the instructions from the ushers for entering and exiting the facilities, as these steps will all help minimize our direct contact with other attendees and help keep us all safe and healthy. As many of you know, last October, we were unable to gather in person to celebrate our 2021 honorees, so we have invited them to be here with us this evening so that we can celebrate them right alongside our 2022 honorees, ensuring that all of them receive their much-deserved public recognition. During tonight's ceremony, we will recognize 13 individuals and one family as a part of the 2022 calendar, as well as 14 individuals from the 2021 calendar. Our 2021 and 2022 honorees have profoundly impacted African American history and culture here in our state and across the nation through education, public service, health and medicine, the arts, business, and advocacy. Just a couple of brief notes about tonight's ceremony. 13 of our 14 2022 honorees and 9 of our 14 2021 honorees are represented here this evening, either through a family member or someone else who's been designated. We have a short video presentation for you to enjoy for each of our 2021 calendar honorees, as well as a short video for each of the 2022 honorees. As in previous ceremonies, every attendee joining us here in person will receive a copy of the calendar at the conclusion of the program simply by visiting the designated pickup stations located throughout the lobby of the Koger Center. In an effort, once again, to promote social distancing and mitigate the spread of COVID-19, the calendar signing portion of the program will not take place at the conclusion of tonight's event. Recognizing the impact of COVID-19 and the extraordinary contributions of our medical and healthcare communities, the cover and the theme of the 2022 calendar pays homage to contributions African Americans heralding from South Carolina have made to healthcare and medicine throughout history. We truly hope that the calendar that is unveiled this evening shows a measure of our sincere gratitude to our healthcare workers who go far above and beyond their call of duty in service to their fellow Americans. The African American History Calendar Project is a collaborative effort of organizations that have remained dedicated and steadfast in their support now for 33 years. Representatives, that's worth a round of applause, absolutely. I've mentioned this in years past that, this is not something that these sponsors have to do, but it's something that each of them truly believe in, and that's why they've committed to it for so many years. Representatives from these organizations will join us on stage shortly for brief remarks, including our State Superintendent of Education, Molly Spearman, who heads the South Carolina Department of Education and the presenting sponsor of our calendar. The University of South Carolina, a very important partner whose departments of African American Studies and Civil Rights History conduct research for the calendar and its honorees. The university is represented tonight by Julian Williams, the University of South Carolina's first Vice President for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. AT&T represented tonight by Terrence Ford, Director of Legislative Affairs of AT&T South Carolina. AT&T is responsible for the calendar's original creation. Without AT&T's commitment and ongoing support, we simply would not be here today. Dominion Energy, represented by Rodney Blevins, President of Dominion Energy South Carolina. Dominion Energy has helped us to grow the calendar's reach significantly, and this year helped us to incorporate a contest to engage students in African American history. You'll hear more about that in just a moment. South Carolina ETV has incorporated the calendar and honorees into its knowitall.org website and has also scheduled time to film each honoree to bring even greater awareness to our community. Representing ETV this evening, its Assistant General Manager, Stephanie Frazier, and WIS-TV. We have incorporated information and content from the calendar into our broadcast over the years. Tonight, our General Manager and Vice President, Mr. Lyle Schulze, is honored to be here as a part of the program. In just a moment, we will hear remarks from each of those representatives, but first, I want to introduce you to those outstanding students that I referenced a moment ago. They're being recognized this evening as a part of the Dominion Energy and South Carolina Department of Education's Strong Men and Women in South Carolina History Student Writing Contest. Now, this writing contest is brand new for 2021, with inspiration coming from a similar program started by Dominion Energy in Virginia. All public, private, and homeschool juniors and seniors in South Carolina are eligible to participate by submitting a 500-word essay on a prompt that changes annually. Submissions are then judged by a panel of experts, and one winner is selected from each of our 5 regions across South Carolina: the Midlands, the Upstate, the Low Country, PD, and Central Savannah River area. The winners of this contest receive an Apple MacBook Air and $1,000 for their schools. It's a pretty impressive accomplishment. Yes. And so, with that framework in mind, we are excited to be able to honor two of the inaugural winners of this contest in person here this evening. Please welcome Carter Lanier of Silver Bluff High School in Aiken County School District and Immunique Harriet of Early College High School in Horry County to the stage. Let's give them another big round of applause. Ladies, congratulations. Thank you for being here this evening. Wishing you all of God's best in your endeavors. I'm looking forward for an opportunity to read your essays, and I have to find out where they are online so I can share them on Facebook for everyone else to read them as well. Congratulations. You're welcome. And in reading those essays, and I will post the link to my website, but just so that you know, you can read the 2021 winning submissions and learn more about the contest in case you know of students who would like to enter next year. You can find all of that information posted at scafricanamerican.com. So save that link for later. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to introduce the representatives of the sponsoring organizations that have made this calendar and this special evening possible. First, we will hear from our State Superintendent of Education. State Superintendent of Education, you know we got to get that right. Please welcome Molly Spearman.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome, and thank you so much for being here. It is an honor for the Department of Education to serve as the lead sponsor for this very important night in South Carolina, and really an inspirational night for all of us, as well as to help sponsor the calendar. We are so excited, and it's just an honor to meet each of you. Thank you for the impact that you have had on our community, state, nation, world. Our children will always remember you and learn about you because we bring a group of teachers together each year to work on lesson plans, and this year it's evolved into a unit. So if you're a teacher, you know that's an even bigger deal because that lasts for a couple days in the class, where children will be learning about your work, what you've done, and the impact that you have had on our society. So thank you for your extraordinary impact, and thank you for being here with us tonight to celebrate your life. Congratulations to all of you. And it's my honor now to present to you the Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at the University of South Carolina, Mr. Julian Williams.
Thank you, Superintendent Spearman, and welcome everyone. The African American History Calendar is a project that aims to share the rich and varied stories of African Americans who have shaped, changed, and enriched the lives of all South Carolinians. The University of South Carolina is proud to be a sponsor of the calendar every year. The calendar is an opportunity to shine a light on individuals who are part of South Carolina's living history. Black history is American history and South Carolina history. Despite facing systemic racism, sexism, and other forms of oppression, our honorees, through their perseverance and strength, have found a way to be undeterred, unflinching, and be successful in their endeavors. For more than 30 years, many have shared inspiring stories of courage, challenge, accomplishment, beauty, and knowledge. Now, as we prepare to unveil our next year's calendar, featuring our honorees and last year's honorees, you will discover 12 months filled with rich histories. These individuals and their stories help us see the important linkages between past and present, which is important for a true and accurate reflection of history. This is especially important today, where across the nation the teaching of a true and accurate history of the Black experience in America is being politicized. Despite these current challenges, the best part about history is that it's fact-based and gives us an opportunity to learn and reconcile the past with a lens for how the past events have shaped our current and our present, as well as our future. As the state of South Carolina's flagship university, the University of South Carolina is working to improve the lives and experiences of our faculty, staff, and students. As the state's flagship, we must be accessible, inclusive, and truly reflect the rich diversity of our state. That's going to require us as a university to study our past, learn from it, and reconcile that complex institutional history, which includes connections to the institution of slavery as well as segregation. Once we learn and study that history, we also have to keep an eye on how that past history impacts our present as well as our institutional future. The University of South Carolina is proud to celebrate each of this year's honorees as well as last year's honorees. We're especially proud to recognize the University of South Carolina alumni who are part of this year and last year's honorees as well. Thank you for representing the Gamecock community so proudly. Go Gamecocks. To all of the honorees, thank you for your lives of service, your lives devoted to art, entertainment, education, reform, justice, and leadership. Thank you so much for all you've given to the state and you will continue to give, and congratulations on this honor. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce Terrence Ford, the Director of Legislative Affairs at AT&T, South Carolina.
Thank you, Julian. Calendar honorees, family members, special guests, on behalf of Jane Sosby and the nearly 1,600 AT&T employees who call South Carolina home, I bring you greetings and congratulations. At AT&T, we look forward to the unveiling of the South Carolina African American History Calendar every year, but tonight is particularly special as we were not able to be together last year. For more than 3 decades, ever since the first edition rolled off the presses in 1988, the calendar has been a celebration of the lives of some extraordinary people and the impact that they've had on South Carolina. It was originally conceived as a resource to assist the State Department of Education in meeting a statutory requirement to include African American history in the curriculum. But over the years, it has become a virtual Hall of Fame, able to be viewed online by people all across the globe. It's actually history is far more than dates and places. It's actually a collection of stories of people. It's what they did, the impact, their thoughts, ideas, perseverance, achievements. That makes those dates and places more important. In the pages of this year's calendars, as in past editions, you will encounter some folks whose names you'll recognize and others that are unsung heroes, but all have helped to weave the rich tapestry of South Carolina's history and heritage. At AT&T, we are proud to join with the Department of Education and other sponsors in helping to preserve and collect those stories, to inspire generations and transform our world. At AT&T, we understand there is no better way to open doors to a better future than through education. It empowers dreams, strengthens families, and grows communities. And supporting education is an investment in the future. Just as AT&T's investment of nearly $800 million in South Carolina's networks over the past 3 years represents a commitment to continuing to help grow this state. So I'm honored to be here with you to celebrate these individuals tonight. Thank you for joining us. It is now my pleasure to introduce Rodney Blevins, President of Dominion Energy, South Carolina.
Thank you, Terrence. On behalf of all the employees at Dominion Energy, South Carolina, I'm honored to congratulate tonight's honorees as well as salute those from 2021. We are proud to continue our partnership with the South Carolina Department of Education to support this year's calendar. At our company, we believe that actions speak louder, And this is just one of the many ways we're committed to recognizing the contributions of African Americans, contributions that are often ignored, obscured, or forgotten in history. This calendar ensures that our honorees, their talents, accomplishments, and service to their communities will be recognized and appreciated by all. The calendar also teaches something about the history of the day, something I particularly appreciate because the 2021 version occupies a spot on the credenza behind my desk. Earlier this year, we strengthened the partnership with the Department of Education with the expansion of our Strong Men and Women program to South Carolina. For many years, we have partnered with the Library of Virginia to present the Strong Men and Women in Virginia History program, which highlights African American trailblazers and history makers and engages students through an essay contest. We honored 2 of those of the 5 recipients here just a few moments ago. And I have no doubt they're going to go on to do great things, further their education and beyond. And I look forward to the program benefiting more students and their schools in years to come. Social justice is not just an essay theme to us. Last year, we heeded the call with the Dominion Energy Charitable Foundation announcing a $5 million commitment to support social justice and community rebuilding efforts that would be made over 2 years. One of the first nonprofits to receive a distribution from that was the Columbia Urban League, a group we've proudly partnered with for many years. For more than 40 years, we have been supporting historically black colleges and universities, and last year we felt called to do something more and have a greater impact. Dominion Energy made significant multi-year commitments to several HBCUs, including 4 here in South Carolina, and scholarships for African American and other underrepresented minority students. This week, I had the opportunity to serve on a panel on leading in unprecedented times, and they are unprecedented, during our 3rd annual Careers in Energy Diversity Student Conference, which is underway virtually. This conference gives students the opportunity to learn more about the company and careers in energy. They can also connect with company representatives who are hiring interns for next year. We had more than 100 women and minority college, universities, trade school students from across the country join us. This is just one of the tools we are using as a company to improve the diversity of Dominion Energy. Beginning in 2020, we committed to increasing the diverse workforce representation 1 percentage point each year with the goal of reaching at least 40% by year-end 2026. And this starts with hiring. Half of our hires in 2020 were women and or minorities. And we will continue to work toward this goal of being a proper reflection of the communities we serve. So I'll put my recruiting hat on just for a moment. Please help us out by telling our best and brightest that the energy industry is a great place to work. We want our actions to speak louder. Tonight, as we celebrate the perseverance and resiliency of the 2021 and 2022 honorees and the legacies they've built, I am proud that Dominion Energy is able to share these stories with the citizens of our great state. And I hope you are as inspired as I am to use your gifts and talents to make our communities even better for future generations. I'm sure we can. I would like to now introduce Stephanie Frazier from South Carolina Educational Television.
Good evening to all of you. It is my honor to be here representing South Carolina ETV and to celebrate these outstanding individuals. The honorees for 2021 and 2022 have made such significant contributions in their respective industries, and their legacies provide the foundation for the creation of such rich educational content. And it's for that reason that we have chosen to highlight each of the honorees on our main broadcast channel, and we have social media highlights for them throughout the year. Additionally, we honor them on our knowitall.org educational website, and this past year we have been working internally. We've challenged ourselves to really think through how we can uniquely engage young people in the content creation process at ETV. And so it's been very interesting to hear the types of things they want to know about each of the honorees. They certainly understand the historical context of the stories that we're telling about the honorees, but they want to know how they lived. They want to know what kind of food they liked. What kind of music did they listen to? What kind of clothes did they wear when they were growing up? And so you can imagine, as we are trying to create standard-aligned content around each of the honorees, how interesting it is to try to weave some of that in. But nevertheless, we are certainly excited to be partners in this initiative. We are very glad to tell the stories of the honorees and to share them with young people in our entire audience. And so I want to thank you all and to say congratulations to all of the honorees for 2021 and 2022. Thank you. And it is now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Lyle Schulze, the Vice President and General Manager for WIS.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to take a moment to recognize our MC tonight, Judy Gatson, our very own Judy Gatson, who has been nominated as TV Anchor Person of the Year by the Radio, TV, and News Direct. By the Radio, TV, and News Directors Association of the Carolinas. She is the best, and we all know that. For the past 33 years, WIS has been a proud sponsor of the South Carolina African American History Calendar from the very beginning. Along with our Sunday morning program Awareness, which is now in its 51st year on WIS, we strive to champion the causes. Thank you. Thank you. Of the African American community right here in the Midlands. You know, William Shakespeare wrote in his play Twelfth Night, "Be not afraid of greatness. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them." We can surely all agree that the descriptive great could be a term to highlight all of our honorees tonight. Today, our nation seems to strive on controversy and adversity much more than ever in history. The internet, smartphone, and social media have played a huge role in exposing emotions through words and pictures and video, the likes of which we have never seen before. In our own local news business, journalists like those that work at WIS daily, sadly are being targeted as biased and fake. This despite our daily efforts to present both sides of every issue. An accusation or an attack on character has become easy to do thanks to social media and a keyboard. Tragically, far fewer young people are entering the journalism profession today out of fear of being attacked and harassed for reporting truth and facts. Tonight's honorees have never given in or given up their quest to have their voices heard, despite facing many of their own uphill battles of their time. In fact, we all know sitting here that our nation is truly based upon the conviction that there are extraordinary possibilities in ordinary people. The African American History Calendar is filled with incredible stories of heroism, sacrifice, and triumph over the years. For the next year, these heroes will be featured on WIS. By broadcasting their legacy in South Carolina, we will see what we are privileged to see here tonight in person, and that's excellence. Finally, Dr. Martin Luther King best characterized our honorees tonight with this: "Our lives," he said, "begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter." They have not stood silent, and we are beneficiaries of their voices. On behalf of WIS and Gray Television, we salute you and thank you for your service to our community. Thank you. Judy?
Thanks so much, Lyle. I appreciate the kind words, and thank you to all of our sponsors for being here today and making this special event possible tonight to honor these trailblazers who have really set the standard and offer so much inspiration, especially to the next generation. The 2021 calendar was produced, of course, amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, which meant, unfortunately, we were not able to gather the way that we are this evening. Before we recognize the 2021 honorees who were able to join us on stage this evening, I'd like to invite you to watch a short video about the 2021 calendar. I was honored to narrate this video, and we are delighted to share it with you this evening. For the last 32 years, the South Carolina African American History Calendar has paid homage to the outstanding individuals who have made an extraordinary impact on our state and nation. Created by the South Carolina Department of Education, the calendar serves as a tool for educators statewide to celebrate African American history in the classroom. Special thanks to our community partners, AT&T, Dominion Energy, SCETV, the University of South Carolina, and WIS News 10. The 2021 calendar theme celebrates Jenkins Orphanage, founded by Reverend Daniel Jenkins in 1891. Led by Jenkins, the children formed a band and went on to become a worldwide jazz sensation. The young musicians performed at the inaugurations of President Roosevelt and President Taft, and even for the Queen of England. The group's performances helped popularize the Geechee-style dance moves now recognized as the Charleston. The legacy of the orphanage lives on today in North Charleston at the Jenkins Institute. This year, we are proud to honor the following individuals who have helped shape South Carolina, its history, and its citizens in extraordinary ways. Allie Brooks served in Florence area public schools for more than 35 years in various capacities and is the recipient of several South Carolina Board of Education volunteer awards. Gilda Cobb Hunter made history as a member of the South Carolina House of Representatives several times. She also led the historic effort to build the first monument to African Americans on the grounds of any state capitol. The Fielding brothers, Bernard and Herbert, were active civil rights leaders in Charleston and beyond. They eventually took over the family funeral home business, which is one of the oldest African American-owned businesses in the area. Rosa Franklin had a notable nursing career while residing in South Carolina, earning various degrees and even an honorary doctorate. She went on to become the first African American woman to serve in the Washington State Senate, where she advocated for health care. Dr. Sherman James is an award-winning social epidemiologist and distinguished university professor. His research on the link between adversity and hypertension in African Americans has been covered widely in renowned news publications. Willis Langley climbed swiftly from McDonald's trainee to regional operations manager and then pursued the purchase of a franchise with his wife Clara. His dream became reality when the Langleys became the first African American couple to purchase a McDonald's in the city of Columbia. L. Casey Manning Sr. was an elite high school basketball player who became the first African American scholarship recipient to play at the University of South Carolina before studying law. As an attorney, he has led a celebrated career, garnering numerous awards and honors. He remains active in athletics and was recently inducted into the South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame. Amy Surgener Northrup established her Columbia, South Carolina beauty shop in 1935 and went on to secure state affiliations with national cosmetology leagues. She was the first African American to be appointed as State Inspector of Beauty Shops and was inducted into the South Carolina Black Hall of Fame. A courageous NAACP civil rights leader and elementary school teacher, Gloria Blackwell Rackley filed and won 2 landmark civil rights lawsuits in the state. One secured equal rights for African American teachers in segregated schools, and the other led to the integration of a local hospital. Nathaniel Spells Sr. was the first African American
to earn a bachelor's degree in building construction from the School of Architecture at Clemson. His entrepreneurial spirit led him to establish Construction Dynamics Incorporated, which has garnered numerous awards, including Minority Business of the Year. As president of the Greenville NAACP, A.J. Wittenberg drew national attention when he organized a major march after Jackie Robinson and other African Americans were threatened with arrest for sitting in a whites-only section of the Greenville airport. He continued his commitment to civil rights with desegregation lawsuits and serving in public office. As a young NAACP activist, Doris Wright challenged segregation of the Greenville Public Library, helped organize statewide protests, and became one of the plaintiffs in the landmark Edwards versus South Carolina decision, in which the Supreme Court ruled students had exercised constitutional rights in their public assembly and protest of segregation. She went on to receive numerous humanitarian awards for her civil rights activism and work with nonprofit and government social services specializing in mental health care. To request a copy of the 2021 calendar or find more information about our honorees and the Jenkins Institute, please visit scafricanamerican.com.
A wonderful commemoration of last year's honorees, but we want the members of that 2021 class who are able to be here with us this evening to know just how much we value and appreciate your achievements, your accomplishments, all that you have given to our community. If you would be so kind as to please stand, and if you would be so kind as to hold your applause until we get to the end after I read their names. First, Bernard and Herbert Fielding, represented by their son and nephew, Herbert Fielding. Willis and Clara Langley. The Honorable L. Casey Manning. Gloria Rackley, represented by her daughters, Lerma and Jamel, and Doris Wright. Let's give them all a big round of applause. Thank you very much, and congratulations. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to begin our 2022 honoree inductions. We ask again that you hold your applause until after each honoree has been introduced and after their video has been played. We will start with our January honorees, Karen Alexander Banks and Sergio Hudson.
Karen Alexander Banks left an 11-year corporate position to pursue her passion for educating and utilizing the arts. Entertainment and the arts have always been a part of her life. In 2001, she founded the Auntie Karen Foundation with the mission to create and implement a series of replicable community outreach programs. She is most proud of the young lives nurtured and showcased via the foundation. One such entrepreneur is fashion designer Sergio Hudson. Sergio Hudson became a part of the Auntie Karen Glam Squad in 2006 to create Karen's look for the annual Legends of concert. Sergio Hudson is known for his luxury women's designs. Based in Los Angeles, he began his designs in his hometown of Ridgeway, South Carolina, taking inspiration from his mother, who was a tailor and always had an eye for fashion. Hudson attended college in Atlanta, Georgia, and studied fashion. His career shifted into overdrive when he won Bravo TV's reality design competition, Styled to Rock, where he designed for Rihanna and other celebrities. Hudson launched his namesake collection in 2014 and has recently dressed Michelle Obama, Kamala Harris, and Beyonce, to name a few.
And had always admired the efforts that the state put to make sure that these stories of people of African descent is carried on. So when I got the phone call that I would be one of them, I was so excited because I feel like I'm doing work that I'm purposed to do, and it's not necessarily about me, but if this is a way for the work that we're doing to get out, then I'm extremely proud to be a part of that. Sergio is one of several successful young entrepreneurs. Every time Sergio did an outfit for me, I had him sign it. I always knew that he would be successful. So I am really honored that I had an opportunity to just play a small part in his success.
It's an honor to be honored, especially by your home, and to be acknowledged for the work that you do. What I want to do is to be a light to the next little African American boy who has an interest in this industry and can look at me and see himself. Karen is, to me, one of the most beautiful souls I've ever met. You can see her heart before she opens her mouth. The biggest thing that Karen has done for me is to be able to see how if you treat people good, good things will happen to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Karen Alexander Banks and Sergio Hudson, would you please stand? Thank you so much. I have to add that Karen has touched so many young lives through the Auntie Karen Foundation. And Sergio, we are so honored to have you here because we know you are fresh off the New York runway at Fashion Week, unveiling the Return to Glamour collection, y'all, available for pre-sale. Thank you for coming home and receiving this special honor. Ladies and gentlemen, our February honoree, Dr. Linda Bell.
Dr. Linda Bell is originally from El Paso, Texas, and had an early interest in science, eventually leading her to seek a degree in molecular biology and later a medical degree in training in internal medicine. She was one of only 5 African Americans in her medical school class of 200 and the only African American in her internal medicine residency program. Dr. Bell's interest in infectious diseases led her to a career in public health. She became the state epidemiologist in 2013 and director of the Bureau of Communicable Disease Prevention and Control in 2016, providing oversight for programs in infectious diseases. Dr. Bell has served a prominent role throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, providing science-based public education and shedding light on long-standing health disparities that contributed to the disproportionate impact of the pandemic on African Americans. For her efforts, Dr. Bell has been recognized by various prominent national and local organizations.
When I think of who I am, I think of myself in so many different roles. The most important roles that I think of myself are in terms of my family, in terms of a wife, in terms of a mother, a daughter, a sister. I think my role as an African American in public health gives me a unique opportunity perhaps to be a slightly different voice, a different voice that will perhaps better serve communities of color, recognize the disparities that they experience, and recognize the need to prioritize those problems. I hope that in some ways I might, inspire others to recognize that, whatever they set their sights on can be accomplished. I'm so grateful for the support that I received from my family, from my husband, who worked hard at the front lines as a practicing cardiologist, my children who had, a mom who was not always as present as she needed to be. And I know there were so many other people in that same role. And I just want to acknowledge what we as a population, we as humanity have gone through together.
Dr. Linda Bell, would you please stand? Would you please stand? I have to say, Dr. Bell, you are a woman of incredible intellect, patience, and grace. Congratulations. Thank you very much for all of your contributions to our community. Ladies and gentlemen, our March honoree, none other than Chadwick Boseman.
Chadwick Chad Boseman was born and raised in Anderson, South Carolina. He loved God and spending time with his family and friends. Chad graduated from T.L. Hanna High School. He was active in speech and debate and played on the basketball team. In high school, he wrote his first play. He later graduated from Howard University and the New York City Digital Film Academy. He was trained in a variety of martial arts and enjoyed acting. Chad loved singing, listening to music, and playing instruments. His career started out with plays, soap operas, and TV shows, and he later acted in several movies playing prominent roles such as James Brown, Thurgood Marshall, Jackie Robinson, and superhero Black Panther. Chad loved children. When the movie Black Panther was released, he paid for hundreds of underprivileged children in his hometown to see the movie. Chad was supportive and active in many organizations and charities. He was gifted, talented, humble, smart, loving, caring, dedicated, strong, and hardworking.
He was always there to inspire the family, to encourage the family.
Just a down-to-earth, caring person. He loves his mom, his dad, his brothers, nieces, nephews, cousins.
He's the expectation to live up to as far as like really like chasing your dreams. When he pursued his acting career, when he pursued college, when he pursued basketball, whatever he pursued, he gave his best foot forward.
Chad pulled in from all the resources from both sides of the family, the kind and tenderness of our grandmothers, the hard work of our fathers and our grandfathers, and he just blended it together to be a good person and to love God. Someone said that's an important part of our family, so I just think he was a mix of all those things.
Minus any movie that he played in, he's just a hero. Period.
Wow. Here with us this evening to accept this award on his behalf, his sister, Dionne Bozeman. Would you please stand? I think it is also so incredibly fitting and so timely that we just recently learned that Howard University and Netflix announced a $5.4 million endowed scholarship in Chadwick Boseman's name. An incredible legacy to carry on. Thank you for being here and congratulations. Our April honoree, Nick Aaron Ford.
Dr. Nick Aaron Ford was born in 1904 in Ridgeway, South Carolina. He learned to read and write before the age of 5 and attended Winsboro Colored School when he was 10. After graduation from Benedict College in 1926, Dr. Ford began his career in teaching in Aiken, South Carolina, and served as a teacher and administrator at various schools and black colleges across the South. He earned his PhD from the University of Iowa in 1934. For 28 years, Dr. Ford was a professor at Morgan State University, where he eventually became the chair of the English department. As a prominent black educator and scholar, Dr. Ford was an advocate in pushing for the inclusion of African American culture and literature to be taught throughout academia prior to 1968. His books, articles, and newspaper writings were based upon how important it was to know the literary accomplishments of black writers throughout the United States and the need to recognize black studies in higher education.
While I was in grad school, I fell into Nick Aaron Ford's piece on I Teach Negro Literature. He was dedicated to the cause of the importance of students learning about the black experience. And so he talks about how he's so mesmerized by these black educators who don't know that there's that much literature out there that they are able to teach, and who are the old classic black literature writers and authors and poets, as well as who are the young ones. I believe that Nick Aaron Ford is the one who basically put it out there, talking about the importance of these programs that actually are all over the United States and actually overseas now.
Dr. Ford is not able to be here with us this evening, but I know he's making the Benedict Tigers and our entire community proud. Let's give him a big round of applause. Our May honoree, the Gaither family.
Walter B. Gaither and Fannie Mae Little met at Rock Hills Friendship Junior College, married and started a family near Great Falls. Fannie Mae became a teacher, steering generations of students. Walter earned a bachelor's degree from Benedict College and later became a brick and tile mason. The Gaithers were very active in educational, fraternal, and church matters and were respected in all sectors of their community. The Gaither children have made distinguished contributions in the many places where they have built careers, made homes, and raised families. Dr. Thomas Walter retired as a professor of mycology at Slippery Rock University. Herman Kenneth retired as superintendent of Beaufort County Public Schools after having previously served as a teacher and chief fiscal officer. Glenda Jean retired as an Atlanta public school librarian and continues to reside in Atlanta, where she and her husband raised their family. Thomas, Herman, and Glenda all completed their elementary education in a one-teacher school under their mother, and later all attended undergraduate college at Claflin University. Edmund Barry Gaither, a Morehouse College graduate, recently retired from Boston's Museum of Fine Arts and remains director of the National Center of Afro-American Artists. A graduate of University of Cincinnati, Diane Gaither Thompson retired as a program manager in Ohio.
I think our parents were progressive in a time when progress was very hard to define. So they used what they had learned from their experiences and from their education to make it better for the rest of the people in the community who did not have those same kind of privileges, nor those same kind of achievements.
Mama taught Freedom School at Pleasant Grove Church, which is a church Daddy built. She would teach the older members of the community how to sign their names. So mother and father were directly responsible for swelling the rolls in Fairfield County for African Americans to vote.
Our involvement in civil rights was early. I remember going to meetings of the South Carolina Conference of the NAACP. I think it was those kinds of experiences that helped to indoctrinate us very, very early on the importance of taking a stand on something that is honest, reasonable, and just.
I think there are lots of exciting lessons to be gleaned from the life of my parents and from how devoted that life was to shaping the world in which we grew up.
Each of us in our own capacity has carried on the involvement in civic and civil rights issues. Our parents were truly the model of parents. Character, integrity, commitment, dedication, awareness, all of those things were everyday values that were acted out in our home.
We are supposed to be good citizens and good community helpers and good Christians and all those things that make the world a better place for the greater community. So that's what we've been doing in the places where we have been. And so this is, to us, quite an honor. We are who we are because of them. So yeah, they are being honored through us.
Wow. We are absolutely delighted to have Mr. Herman Gaither here representing the Gaither family. What an incredible example of a family of strength, faith, and love. Would you please stand? Ladies and gentlemen, our June honoree, Sandra Glover.
Dr. Sandra H. Glover has been at the forefront of public health practice and health equity initiatives for over 30 years. She is currently a distinguished professor emerita at the University of South Carolina. Dr. Glover served as the Arnold School's first associate dean for health disparities and social justice for several years. She was the first tenured African American faculty member in the school's history and the first to be promoted to full professor. She established a Center of Excellence in Community Engagement, Partnerships, and Research focused on reducing health disparities with Claflin University. Dr. Glover has worked tirelessly to increase minorities in the biomedical field in partnership with historically Black colleges and universities across the country. Her passion and commitment to achieving health equity in rural minority communities remains steadfast. A summa cum laude graduate of the School of Business at South Carolina State University, Dr. Glover received her MBA and PhD from U of SC. Married to the Reverend Samuel B. Glover, she has 3 children and 4 grandchildren.
I often share with people that the work that I've done over the years, I've not done for recognition, that I've done it hoping to improve lives. I see my legacy through the students, through my children, my grandchildren. I see my legacy in the community, working with the communities, lifting those communities, watching and seeing those voices elevated in a way that we begin to move toward health equity. I want people to, when they think back on my life, why did she go at it so hard all the time, nonstop? Because we're not promised tomorrow. But I would like to at least do what I can to ensure that the next generation, they will have a tomorrow.
Dr. Sandra H. Glover, thank you for the work that you have put in, especially on the front of health equity. Congratulations for being our June honoree. Dr. Sandra H. Glover. Our calendar celebrates the accomplishments of Thomas Gordon for the month of July.
Dr. Thomas Gordon's career as a psychologist spans more than 35 years as college professor, health systems manager, psychotherapist, and now advisor to organizations on a wide range of leadership and performance challenges. Dr. Gordon serves on the Health Promotion Council's board of directors. He is past treasurer of the Association of Black Psychologists and ex-president of its Delaware Valley chapter. He and his wife have 5 children and 9 grandchildren. Dr. Gordon is the founder and principal of TAGA Consulting, which designs and delivers capacity-building, collaborative, culturally competent systems, effectiveness seminars, coaching, interventions, and leadership consultation. In addition to executive and team coaching, Dr. Gordon has advised on large-scale change initiatives, including designing and implementing strategic diversity initiatives, synergy assessments, competency modeling, leadership seminars, and retreats.
I'm thrilled. 2 years ago in 2019, my parents were honored, and I'm thrilled for this reason. I'm a branch off of some community and family roots, and I think the calendar recognition is a way for me to also express my appreciation to how much people deposited and invested in me to help develop my capabilities. Without that investment, I would not have had the confidence, courage, or competencies to actually deliver service and value in the world. But I mainly learned that to have a great life, we need to lead our lives and not accept scripts that have been given to us. And we also need to be ethical, moral compasses that practice servant leadership so that we're actually looking to see how can we deliver value in the world and create things that are better than what we stepped into. I see myself as a branch off of those roots, and therefore, when I'm honored, I'm honoring the people that invested in and bringing that out and developing that in me. So it's a deep honor. I appreciate it.
Wow. Talk about strong roots for his parents to be honored and now for him to be honored, recognizing and receiving this honor on his behalf this evening, his dear friend, Minnie Wilson Bivens. Would you please stand? Thank you so much for being here. All right, we're a little more than halfway through the calendar. Time for our August honoree, Willie Hereford.
Willie Lloyd Hereford was born in Kansas and graduated high school in Iowa. After graduation from the University of Kansas City, he entered the Army and became the first African-American archivist of the Harry S. Truman Presidential Library in Independence, Missouri. Dean Hereford helped found the Martin Luther King Center for Social Change in Atlanta before moving to Columbia to begin his career at the University of South Carolina. While at USC, he helped found the African American Studies program and served as the school's first Black administrator. After his retirement, he taught as an adjunct professor at Benedict College. Born in Greenville, South Carolina, Harry Walker paved a way for Black students across the South when he became the first African American student body president at the University of South Carolina. Once elected to student body president, their friendship quickly formed and continued beyond their time at USC. Together they coached youth soccer and supported many young African American children who otherwise wouldn't have had the chance to play. They could often be found together helping one another with house projects or just spending time together with their families. Dean Hereford passed away in 2018 but is survived by his wife, 2 sons, 1 daughter, 6 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild. Upon graduating from USC, Walker spent his career in sales with IBM before retiring. He married his college sweetheart and has 2 daughters.
I want to be remembered as a good dad, as someone who tried to make an honest contribution with their life. I feel honored to be linked historically with my good and close friend, Bill Hereford. He just had a giving personality, a quick wit, very relatable, and I think that we probably were more like brothers than we were friends.
If I needed something, I had my dad and I had Harry. And when my first child came, I mean, you know, we had to have a godparent, and it was, again, Harry Walker who was going to be there, and they were, you know, always been there. He's taken care of me and my children and even my grandchild. If my father is able to hear the things that were said today, he would smile, he would be happy. I think he would have liked to have been remembered simply as a good fellow who cared about the people around him. He was very active in his community, was a great grandfather. He loved his grandchildren. Harry was his brother. He just loved people, so I think he would like to be remembered not for any particular event or any particular job, but remembered just as a good person.
I think I got to the video a little too soon, so let me properly acknowledge the dynamic duo of our August honorees, Mr. Willie Hereford and Mr. Harry Walker, also represented by his son this evening, Ward Hereford. Please stand. Let's give them a double round of applause. Thank you, gentlemen, and congratulations. Our September honoree, Elise Jones Martin.
Born in Hartsville, South Carolina in 1915, Mrs. Elise Jones Martin's lifetime has spanned 19 U.S. presidents, 4 major wars, and 2 pandemics. She received cosmetology training in New Jersey and took classes at South Carolina State University, Allen University, and Benedict College. During 62 years in business, she opened Elise Beauty Shop on Washington Street's Black Wall Street, and later opened a wig boutique to become the first African-American business owner on Main Street. She taught cosmetology for 27 years and mentored students in the profession. She headed her voting precinct for more than 30 years. Young Senator Barack Obama, campaigning in Columbia for the presidency, was captured in a widely circulated photo with the 93-year-old's finger in his chest, giving him advice and encouragement. Later in life, she moved to Palo Alto, California to live with her daughter, but remains connected with happenings in Columbia.
I would like for people to remember me as a hard-working person, for the family, for the people. It's just nice that people remember you and think about the things you've done.
Let me tell you, my mother is a strong woman. She always encouraged me to speak up for myself, and she always gave me this picture of strength and courage, and she still is. I mean, she has been on the phone last week talking to people in Columbia about an issue, and she's always calling saying, you know, you need to be leaders. I just heard her say that last week. So she's still at it.
If you call yourself a leader, then there's a certain position you should be in. You shouldn't back up off of something. You should go into it and help get it straight. I would like to be remembered as a person who loved people, a person who did all they could do to help others.
Wow. Incredible. A true trailblazer, okay? Her son is here with us tonight to receive this honor on her behalf. Montez Martin, would you please stand? We could tell your mom. Could we not tell she was looking at her daughter, make sure she got every word just right, wasn't she? Please thank her for her leadership and for being a trailblazer and paving the path for so many of us. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Our October honoree, Thomas Ezekiel Miller.
Thomas Ezekiel Miller was born in 1849 near present-day Ridgeland, South Carolina, to parents who were freed slaves. Miller attended Lincoln University and returned to South Carolina in 1872, where he became school commissioner of Beaufort County. Later, he studied law at the recently integrated University of South Carolina before returning to Beaufort to set up his practice. Miller was elected to the State General Assembly, served on the Republican State Executive Committee from 1878 to 1880, and was state party chairman in 1884. In 1890, Miller served in the U.S. House of Representatives in the seat formerly occupied by Black Representative and Civil War hero Robert Smalls. After his time in Congress, Miller remained active in politics. He helped establish South Carolina State University and served as their first president until 1911. Miller was married to Anna Hume and had 9 children. He passed away in 1938 in Charleston, South Carolina.
Miller is related to me on my father's side. I think that Miller would be very proud of the things that have been accomplished at South Carolina State. The dormitory, Earl Hall, which is named for his daughter, who served as one of the first dean of women. And then there's Miller Hall, which is named for him. He was a very modest person, but I think he would be honored.
Accepting this distinguished honor on his behalf this evening, our distinguished interim president of South Carolina State University, Colonel Alexander Conyers. Would you please stand? Thank you for being here tonight. Our November honoree is Arthur Stanley.
Businessman and civil rights advocate Arthur Whitfield Stanley Sr., known to many as Man, was born in Darlington, South Carolina in 1914. In 1941, he married Theodosia King, with whom he had 3 children. He was drafted into the Army, where he served in the Army Transportation Corps. He served as president of the Darlington County NAACP for 40 years and worked closely with notable civil rights leaders. Mr. Stanley is best known for leading the effort to desegregate the public schools in Darlington. He also engineered the desegregation of the Darlington Public Library, several drugstores, and water fountains in the local courthouse. Stanley became the first black person elected to the Darlington City Council in 1968 after challenging discriminatory polling practices. He has many accolades, including the Order of the Palmetto, presented by Governor David Beasley in 1995 for his tireless and steadfast work in civil rights. In 2011, Darlington's Arthur W. Stanley Gymnasium was dedicated in his honor.
He was bigger than life to me, always doing for other people. He would be so ecstatic to be recognized. He told me that his mother was talked down to or insulted by a white man. And my father, he got very upset. He intervened, and it resulted in an altercation. My father was arrested. And he vowed from that day that he would always fight for equal rights for blacks. For 40 years, he was president of the Darlington County branch of the NAACP. And he did everything he could to lead and drive blacks to a better life. He had no fear. He knew things would work out. We were afraid, but he was not. He knew that right and truth would persevere.
Receiving this honor on his behalf tonight, keeping the legacy going strong, his daughter, Emily Stanley. Please stand. Thank you so much. And last but certainly not least, our December honoree, Isaac Woodard.
Sergeant Isaac Woodard, Jr. was born in 1919 in Fairfield County, South Carolina. At 23, Woodard enlisted in the United States Army at Fort Jackson. After returning home from serving in World War II for over 3 years, Woodard was on a bus heading for his home when he got into a verbal argument with the driver. The driver pulled over in Batesburg, South Carolina, where police officers took Woodard into custody and assaulted him, blinding him by beating him in the eyes. The police officer accused of blinding Woodard was not charged, leading to a political awakening for federal judge Julius Waring, who presided over the case. Judge Waring went on to provide opinions in favor of civil rights cases after the Woodard trial. In 1946, President Harry S. Truman learned of Woodard's blinding and began the process of desegregating the U.S. military and creating the President's Committee on Equality of Treatment and Opportunity in the Armed Services. Woodard moved to the Bronx, New York, where he lived near family and owned properties until his death in 1992.
My earliest recollection of him was coming to my grandmother's home. He was just a wonderful man. I just remember him, and I remember good times. I think he would feel honored by just the acknowledgement of him and what happened to him. It's been over 75 years, and no one has ever mentioned what happened to him or his story. So I think he would feel honored, just and kind of an appreciation that the society is coming together and recognizing him as an unsung hero.
My uncle, in a sense, helped to desegregate the military with his story. In the beginning, he was annoyed about it for a while, and gradually that wore off, and he just lived his life as joyful as he could.
Having had that experience at the age of 27 and going through what he went through, I think you want to be remembered as a regular man who had an unfortunate incident happen to him, but he made the best of it.
Wow. Mr. Isaac Woodard Jr., represented this evening by his nephew, Robert Young. Please stand. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, what did I say? Inspiration, true trailblazers who have paved the way for so many, who have served our community in such an incredible way, and who are true role models for the next generation. We thank you all for being here with us this evening. As a reminder, we are not able to do the calendar signing in the lobby, so as we bring the ceremony to a conclusion, honorees, if you would do us the favor, I'm gonna call your name one more time to celebrate and honor you tonight, to thank you for your incredible contributions. So if you would be so kind as to please stand when I call your names. We'll start with our 2021 honorees, Bernard and Herbert Fielding, represented by their son and nephew, Herbert Fielding, Willis and Clara Langley, the Honorable L. Casey Manning, Gloria Rackley, represented by her daughters, Lerma and Jamel, Doris Wright, our 2022 honorees, Karen Alexander Banks and Sergio Hudson, Dr. Linda Bell, Dion Bozeman representing her brother, Chadwick Bozeman, Dr. Nick Aaron Ford, the Gaither family represented this evening by Herman Gaither, Dr. Sandra H. Glover, Dr. Thomas Gordon represented by his friend Minnie Wilson Bivens, Willie Hereford and Harry Walker, thank you so much and congratulations, represented by his son Ward Hereford this evening, Elise Jones Martin, represented by her son Montez Martin, Thomas Ezekiel Miller, represented by Colonel Alexander Conyers, Arthur Stanley, represented by his daughter Emily Stanley, and Isaac Woodard Jr., represented by his nephew Robert Young. Ladies and gentlemen, our 33rd edition of the South Carolina African American History Calendar. Thank you for that standing ovation. They surely deserve it. Honorees, as you prepare to exit the stage, we want to thank you for your time being here with us this evening. As a reminder to our audience, if you would be so kind as to take a seat, we started the program on a high note. We're going to end the program on a high note. We're going to welcome the Blythewood High School Chamber Ensemble back to the stage for one more performance. Please be sure, don't leave without getting your copy of this very special calendar this evening as you exit the Koger Center. In an effort to promote social distancing and mitigate the spread of COVID-19, the calendar signing, again, will not take place, but we certainly hope that you have enjoyed the video presentations, learning a little bit more about these incredible honorees. Please be sure to share the calendar with students in your community, with your church neighbors, your friends, so that we can celebrate the best of South Carolina. That is what this calendar and this project is all about. Once again, thank you to our partners. Thank you to all of our honorees. We're going to welcome the Blythewood High School Orchestra Chamber Ensemble back to the stage. Let's give them another big round of applause. Congratulations. Thank you for being here. Congratulations, Dr. Bell. Thank you. our sincere thanks to the Blythewood High School Orchestra Chamber Ensemble. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here this evening to celebrate the special occasion once again. Please be sure to get your copy of the calendar out in the atrium area of the Koger Center before you head home. Be safe, and we'll see you on WIS TV later tonight. Thank you for being here, everyone, to celebrate the South Carolina African American History Calendar. Good night.